Hola chicos, bienvenidos a Semana 6. Welcome to week 6 for our SVL virtual Spanish course. We're going to be looking at what you're doing this week and what's expected of you this week. So some of you got a student success plan on Friday afternoon. Okay, it might have been sent to you and your parents. I need you, if you haven't done so already, to look it over and let me know that you did receive it and that you do agree to it, okay? If you are in disagreement with that student success plan, you need to let me know ASAP, all right? Maybe you just have a couple questions, absolutely fine. Maybe you're like, there's no way I'm doing this, then we need to have a conversation, okay? But if you're gonna stay in this class, I need agreement to that success plan, all right? So if you didn't get a success plan, don't worry about any of the things I just said, all right? That means you're doing great. Keep the work coming in, okay? We are now in week 6, so if you are behind, you need to make sure you stop falling behind and start working on getting caught up, okay? So one of the things that I think is really helpful for students, make sure you have a dictionary handy, okay? Wordreference.com is the best online dictionary you can use, bar none. If you're using Google Translate, stop, delete it from your search history, and start using wordreference.com. The reason is that Google Translate is translating the words for you. It doesn't quite work like a dictionary and can often give you really poor results, okay? Also, if you're using Google Translate to look up complete sentences and turning those sentences in as your own work, that's cheating. And you all agreed to a non-translation policy at the beginning of the year. So you want to make sure that you're following through with that, okay? You're not allowed to use a translator in this course. I want to see your work, okay? So just some reminders there. Let's get down to the nitty gritty. What are we doing for week 6? So week 6 is here on our schedule and pacing guide, which you can access anytime. Okay, it's on there's a tab for it on the left-hand side inside Blackboard that I think it says schedule. I think it says schedule and pacing guide. So actually, you know what? Let's look right now. Syllabus and schedule. Pardon me. So you can access it anytime there. We are doing the final project for Unit 1. This is located under coursework. Now, if you go to coursework and you're like, I can't find the Unit 1 project, that's probably because you haven't gotten a minimum passing grade on the previous assignments. So what I've done is I've gone in and said to this assignment that until you complete the very minimum grade on all of these previous assignments, you don't have access to this project yet, okay? So that means that if you have less than a 60% on these assignments, you need to go back and resubmit them, okay? Make sure you're checking feedback, checking your grades, looking at my comments. If you don't know how to do that, I posted a tutorial for that on September 17th, okay? You can check that out. It's in a pink announcement, okay? And then as we look at this project, you're going to type a letter. And when you type the letter, if you're like, well, I don't know how to do the goofy characters, I also posted a tutorial for that, the very first announcement, and again on September 17th. So make sure you're reading all the announcements, and then if you're watching this video, I assume that you are watching the video, so congratulations on that. All right, so how do you do your project? Well, there is this airline called Iberia. Iberia is an airline from Spain, from the Iberian Peninsula, right? Makes sense. And what you're going to do is you're going to write a letter to them. You're going to write a letter saying that you want a job. Okay, so when you write this letter, you want to think about every time you do an assignment. Why am I doing this assignment? What's the point? And the point here is to use this context, a real life context, to demonstrate that you can use the vocabulary you learned in this chapter as well as the grammar you learned in this chapter. Okay, so writing to this airline, that's your kind of context, that's your framework. How are you going to phrase your sentences? You're going to make sure you're hitting those grammar and vocab points, right? So let's take a look at the project description. So I'm not going to read the whole thing to you because that's for you to read. You're all literate, I'm sure. You made it this far, I would imagine. So as you read through this, make sure you're reading all the details, okay? Because you want to get the full picture. So they're looking for an agent who can speak Spanish and English and knows their way around the airport and dealing with passengers. So just like you would in a regular job application, you're going to want to make sure that you include that type of info in your letter because that's what they're looking for, right? If I say I'm looking for someone who speaks French, you should tell me you speak French in your application, okay? In this case, we're looking for these two languages, so you should talk about that. So as we think about our writing strategy, you are telling someone, I want a job to work for you. So make sure that you're being persuasive, okay? The best way to do well on any writing assignment is to pre-write. And what that means is do a rough draft, do a brainstorm, okay? Maybe do an outline, whatever works for you. That way you have your ideas organized before you try to put them together. Do not just rush this thing together, okay? So think of your overall goal. My overall goal is to convince them that they should hire me, that I am awesome, okay? And then you're going to explain to them your overall goal using the vocab and grammar. So what vocab should you be using? You should be using the vocabulary from this unit that you can find in the interactive chalkboard at the very beginning of coursework. Here are some questions that you should be answering. ¿Qué tipo de persona eres? What type of person are you? Okay, are you nice? Are you mean? You know, think about what are they looking for in a customer service agent, okay? Are you intelligent? Do you think quickly? Things like that. ¿Por qué te interesa trabajar en un aeropuerto? You're going to say, I'm interested in working in an airport because if someone's going to hire you, they want to know, why do you want this job? Me interesa trabajar en un aeropuerto porque blah, blah, blah. I don't know. Maybe you like the fast rhythm that an airport has, okay? ¿Tienes mucha experiencia en viajar? Do you have a lot of experience traveling? Okay, so you're going to, obviously, even if this is not true, you're going to say yes, okay? Don't forget, it's okay to make stuff up for assignments like these. They don't have to be true. If you've never set foot in the airport, that's fine. Don't worry about it. Use the vocab and the context from this unit to be able to develop a solid response, okay? ¿Puedes explicar el proceso necesario para abordar un avión? Can you explain the necessary process to board a plane? So obviously, if you work in the airport, you have to know how things work, okay? So again, if you've never traveled on a plane before, that's okay. Make sure you're looking through the vocab and the slides that show you exactly how all that stuff works, okay? So you're going to write, now that you have your outline finished, you're going to write your actual essay. Excuse me. Make sure you have answered these questions, okay? You can add more as well. Think about using accurate airline travel vocabulary. Again, you need to be using the vocab from this unit. That's what I'm assessing you on. If you are not using this unit's vocab, you're not going to get a very good grade on vocab because you weren't showing me that you mastered this unit. Now, that doesn't mean you can't bring in extra vocab. That's okay. A couple words here and there. But what I'm really looking for you is, have you mastered this unit's vocab that has been assigned to you? Okay, that's what I'm looking for. So just making up any sentence you want isn't really the best idea, okay? Make sure you're focusing on these questions that are given to you. Make sure you demonstrate that you understand the process of arriving at an airport and getting on a flight, right? So you get to the airport, you check in at the counter, maybe you check your luggage, you get a boarding pass, you go through security, you wait at the gate, then you board the plane, okay? Things like that. Again, if you've never been on a plane before and the interactive chalkboard does not explain it well enough to you, contact me. I'll explain to you what it's like to get on a plane, okay? So a good idea to demonstrate that you know how to use the preterite tense or the past tense is to talk about a flight you've given. Like, oh yeah, I know how to board a plane. Last summer I went to Spain and I did this, I did that, I did the other, okay? So make sure when you're using the preterite tense, make sure you have your notes out, how to form the preterite tense, okay? You're also going to show me that you can use sorry, I highlighted everything, that you can use those yo-go verbs. Hago, pongo, traigo, salgo. There's a bajillion more, okay? But focusing on those definitely. Hago, pongo, traigo, salgo, okay? So maybe you say, oh yeah, every time I travel, I do this, hago mi maleta, pongo mi maleta en el taxi, salgo al aeropuerto, whatever, traigo mi documentos de identidad, whatever you want to say, okay? Professional tone and formatting. You are inquiring about a job. This should look serious, okay? It should sound serious. Not like, hey dude, what's up? Need a job, all right? Make sure you're using correct punctuation, correct spelling. all of those things, okay? Accurate use of regular verbs in the preterite tense. So again, can you use the past tense, okay? Your whole thing doesn't have to be in the past tense. Just like in English, I wouldn't always talk in the past tense. We go back and forth and say, oh yeah, I'm a good candidate for the job because I'm this, I'm that, and the other. For example, last summer, I went to Spain, I packed my bag, I got to the airport, I checked my luggage, right? We mix tenses in real life, and you're going to do that in this letter. And then a minimum of 4 paragraphs. Not huge paragraphs, but maybe think about really completely addressing all of these questions, okay? So, grading, we'll have a 16-point category rubric. That's where you can find it. And here's a modelo. Remember that your modelo or your example is the most important thing for you to look at after the instructions. So it's going to tell you exactly what kind of content we're looking for. You'll notice this example is only 3 paragraphs, so this is just the beginning. Estimados señores, this is a really great way to start any formal letter in Spanish, okay? It's esteemed misters, okay? Spanish-speaking people write very formally. Here's some examples. You can read through that, all right? Make sure that you're hitting all these requirements as explained above. Again, this is not a complete example, and no, you cannot use the sentences in the example because those were already written. That's not your work. But this is just something to give you an idea. Really quick reminder, if you use a translator, you will get a 0, and you will then be on the path towards, after the 3rd time you are removed from the class. So please remember that, all right? If you have any questions about this, please contact me as soon as possible. When you're completed with the assignment and you think it's fantastic, as always, you'll go to Upload Assignments, Submit Assignments, Unit 1, and find this assignment name and upload it. You can view the rubric there. Okay? That's all she wrote for this week. If you have any questions, let me know. There is a Rosetta Stone this week as well. Other than that, it's all you. Okay? This is a great week to get caught up on a lot of stuff. Please contact me if you have any questions. See you next time. Bye.